Zara Chen never thought saving an entire planet would be the easy part of her life. At 17, she had already done what most galactic heroes only dreamed of. The scars on her hands told the story of the Xerion crisis, where she single-handedly prevented the extinction of 4 billion alien lives. The medal in her bedroom drawer proved she was the youngest human ever to receive the Galactic Council's highest honor. But none of that mattered now as she stood outside Jefferson High School, watching other teenagers laugh and chat like they didn't have a care in the universe. The automatic doors slid open with a soft whoosh, and Zara took a deep breath. Moving to a new school was supposed to be a fresh start. Her parents thought returning to Earth would help her feel normal again. They were wrong. Nothing about Zara's life had been normal since the day she volunteered for the emergency mission to Xerion Prime. The hallway buzzed with typical teenage energy. Students slammed lockers, shouted across the corridor, and rushed to classes. Zara clutched her schedule and tried to blend in, but her enhanced reflexes made her flinch at every sudden noise. When a basketball bounced near her feet, she instinctively caught it and threw it back with such precision that it sailed perfectly into a boy's hands 30 feet away. Several students stared in amazement. "Nice throw," said a girl with bright purple hair. "I'm Maya. You must be the new girl everyone's talking about." Zara forced a smile. "I'm Zara, just transferred from overseas." Maya raised an eyebrow. "Overseas? Your accent sounds pretty American to me." Before Zara could explain, the warning bell rang. She hurried to her first class, advanced physics, hoping the familiar subject would provide some comfort. The teacher, Mr. Rodriguez, was explaining quantum mechanics when Zara noticed several errors in his equations. Without thinking, she raised her hand. "Actually, you've made a mistake in the third calculation," she said politely. "The quantum field displacement should account for temporal variance in zero-gravity environments." The classroom fell silent. Mr. Rodriguez stared at the board, then at Zara. That's graduate-level theoretical physics. How do you know about temporal variance?" Zara's cheeks burned. On Xerion Prime, she had learned advanced physics from alien scientists while working to stabilize their dying sun. But she couldn't exactly explain that to her high school physics teacher. "I read a lot," she mumbled. The rest of the morning didn't go much better. In history class, when the teacher discussed recent galactic politics, Zara had to bite her tongue to avoid mentioning her personal meetings with alien ambassadors. During lunch, she sat alone while other students gossiped about weekend parties and dating drama. Their problems seemed so small compared to preventing planetary extinction. Maya found her in the cafeteria, sliding her tray across from Zara's untouched sandwich. "So what's your deal? You throw like a professional athlete. You know physics better than our teacher, and you look like you've seen things that would give most people nightmares." Zara looked up, surprised by Maya's directness. "What makes you say that?" "Your eyes," Maya said simply. "They're old. I've seen the same look in my dad's eyes. He was a war correspondent before he became a journalist. Some experiences change you in ways that don't wash off." For a moment, Zara felt understood, but then the moment passed and she remembered the enormous gap between her experiences and everyone else's. "I've just traveled a lot," she said vaguely. The afternoon brought new challenges. In PE class, Zara had to consciously hold back her enhanced strength and speed. The alien technology that had been integrated into her body during the Xerion mission made her faster and stronger than any normal human. She jogged slowly around the track while her classmates huffed and puffed, pretending to be winded when she could have run for hours without breaking a sweat. But the worst part came during English class. The teacher assigned a creative writing exercise. Write about a time when you felt truly heroic. While other students wrote about helping elderly neighbors or standing up to bullies, Zara stared at her blank paper. How could she write about redirecting solar flares and negotiating with ancient alien AI systems? How could she explain the weight of 4 billion lives depending on her decisions? She ended up writing a generic story about helping a lost child find their parents. It felt like a betrayal of everything she had accomplished, but it was the only way to fit in. After school, Zara walked home through the suburban streets, missing the strange beauty of alien cities and the complexity of intergalactic politics. Her phone buzzed with a message from Admiral Chen, her handler at the Galactic Defense Force. "New mission briefing tomorrow. Hope you're settling in well on Earth." Zara almost laughed. Settling in well? She was a decorated galactic hero who couldn't even eat lunch without feeling like an outsider. The irony wasn't lost on her that she could communicate fluently with 12 different alien species, but couldn't figure out how to talk to teenagers her own age. At home, her parents asked about her first day with forced cheerfulness. Her mother, Dr. Sarah Chen, was a brilliant xenobiologist who had worked on several alien worlds. Her father, Colonel James Chen, was a career military officer with the Space Defense Corps. They understood the importance of Zara's work, but they worried about her missing out on a normal childhood. "How was school, sweetheart?" her mother asked, setting down her tablet full of research on Andromedan plant life. "Fine," Zara lied. "Just normal high school stuff." Her father looked up from his reports on border security in the Outer Rim. "Make any friends?" "Maybe," Zara said, thinking of Maya's perceptive comments. "There's this girl who seems different." That night, Zara lay in bed staring at the ceiling of her ordinary bedroom in their ordinary house on their ordinary street. Through her window she could see the stars, but they looked different from Earth than they did from the bridge of a starship. Smaller, more distant, less real. She pulled out her tablet and scrolled through news from across the galaxy. 3 different species had sent personal thank you messages for her work on Xerion Prime. The Galactic Council was considering naming a star system after her. But tomorrow, she would sit in advanced biology and pretend she didn't know more about alien physiology than most university professors. Zara had saved a planet, but she was beginning to wonder if she could survive high school. 3 weeks into her new life at Jefferson High, Zara thought she was getting better at pretending to be normal. She had learned to walk slower, speak less in class, and fake interest in celebrity gossip. But everything changed the day the Vorten scout ship appeared in Earth's atmosphere. Zara was sitting in chemistry class, carefully measuring solutions while her lab partner Jake complained about the upcoming homecoming dance, when her enhanced hearing picked up a frequency that made her blood run cold. The high-pitched whine was barely audible to human ears, but she recognized it immediately as a Vorthon communication signal. Her hands began to shake as she set down the beaker. The Vorthons were a warrior species from the Gamma Quadrant, known for their ruthless expansion and complete disregard for other civilizations. She had encountered them briefly during the Xerion crisis, and the experience had left her with nightmares for months. "Zara, you okay?" Jake asked, noticing her sudden pallor. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Before she could answer, every electronic device in the school began malfunctioning. Lights flickered, computers crashed, and the fire alarm started blaring intermittently. Students looked around in confusion, but Zara knew exactly what was happening. The Vorthons were conducting a technological scan of the area. "I need to use the bathroom," she mumbled, rushing out of the classroom despite her teacher's protests. In the empty hallway, Zara pulled out her emergency communicator, a device disguised as an ordinary smartphone that connected directly to the Galactic Defense Force. Admiral Chen's holographic image appeared instantly, his expression grim. "Zara, we've detected a Vorthon scout ship conducting surveillance sweeps across major population centers," he said without preamble. "They appear to be searching for something specific." "Or someone," Zara replied, her stomach dropping. "Admiral, I think they're looking for me." Admiral Chen's face darkened. "That's our assessment as well. Intelligence suggests they've learned about your role in the Xerion incident. Your unique abilities make you a high-value target." Zara leaned against the wall, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders once again. "What are my orders?" "We're dispatching an extraction team, but they won't arrive for 6 hours. Until then, you need to maintain your cover and protect the civilian population. Under no circumstances can the Vorthons discover Earth's location or learn about human capabilities." The communication ended, leaving Zara alone in the hallway with the sound of confused voices and malfunctioning electronics. She took a deep breath, accessing the mental training that had been drilled into her during her time with the Galactic Defense Force. Emotion was a luxury she couldn't afford right now. Lives depended on her staying calm and focused. When she returned to chemistry class, Maya was waiting by her lab station with a concerned expression. "The teacher said you looked sick. Everything all right?" "Just a headache," Zara lied, but Maya's sharp eyes suggested she wasn't buying it. "Funny how your headache started right when all the electronics went crazy," Maya observed quietly. "Almost like you knew it was coming." Zara's enhanced senses detected something else troubling. The Vorthon signal was getting stronger. which meant their ship was descending toward the surface. She had perhaps 30 minutes before they began conducting detailed scans of the local population. The rest of the school day passed in a blur of tension. Zara tried to act normal while constantly monitoring Vorthon communications through her neural implant. Their language was harsh and guttural, but she understood every word. They were indeed searching for the human who interfered with Zerion, and they had narrowed their search to this region. During lunch, Zara excused herself again and made her way to the school's roof access. From there, she could see a small, dark shape hovering just above the cloud line. The Vorthon scout ship was nearly invisible to human eyes, but her enhanced vision could make out its predatory outline. Pretty impressive view from up here. Zara spun around to find Maya climbing through the roof access door. "You shouldn't be here. It's not safe." "Safe from what?" Maya challenged, stepping closer. "Zara, I've been watching you for 3 weeks. You move like a soldier, you know things you shouldn't know, and now mysterious electronics failures happen right after you get a headache. Either you're the most interesting transfer student in history, or something very weird is going on." Before Zara could respond, her communicator buzzed with an urgent alert. The Vorthons had begun their deep scan, which would penetrate the school within minutes. If they detected her enhanced physiology, they would know they had found their target. "Maya, I need you to listen very carefully," Zara said, her voice taking on the authoritative tone she had used during galactic negotiations. "In about 10 minutes, this school is going to be in serious danger. I need you to help me get everyone to safety." Maya stared at her for a long moment. "This is about more than just electronics problems, isn't it?" "Much more," Zara confirmed. "There are people looking for me, and they don't care who gets hurt in the process." To her credit, Maya didn't demand more explanations. Instead, she nodded grimly. "What do you need me to do?" "Pull the fire alarm and get everyone evacuated to the far side of the parking lot. Make sure the teachers think it's a real emergency." Maya headed for the door, then paused. "Zara, whatever you're involved in, you don't have to handle it alone." After Maya left, Zara activated her emergency protocols. Her neural implant connected to the school's computer system, allowing her to access security cameras and communication networks. The Vorthon ship had descended to just above the tree line, its sensors probing the building with increasing intensity. The fire alarm began blaring, and students started filing out of the building in orderly lines. Zara watched from the roof as Maya directed people toward the designated evacuation area, her quick thinking potentially saving hundreds of lives. But the Vorthons weren't going to be fooled by a simple evacuation. Their sensors had already detected anomalous readings from the school, and Zara knew they would investigate personally. She had perhaps 5 minutes before armed Vorthon soldiers would enter the building looking for her. Zara made a decision that would change everything. Instead of hiding or running, she walked to the center of the roof and activated her emergency beacon, sending a signal directly to the Vorthon ship. Her location was now completely exposed, but at least the danger would be focused on her instead of innocent students. The response was immediate. The scout ship descended rapidly, its hull shimmering as advanced stealth technology disengaged. It was smaller than the ships she had fought during the Zerion crisis, but no less dangerous. Weapon ports began to glow with ominous energy. From the parking lot, she could hear screams as students and teachers pointed at the alien vessel now hovering directly above their school. Zara felt a familiar mixture of fear and determination. This was what she had trained for, what she had sacrificed her normal life to be ready for. But as she prepared to face the Vorthons, one thought cut through her tactical planning. Maya was down there in the crowd, watching everything. Her carefully constructed secret identity was about to be destroyed in the most dramatic way possible. The first Vorthon transport beam activated, and 3 armored figures materialized on the roof. They were tall, reptilian, and carried weapons that could vaporize a human instantly. Their leader stepped forward, his translator device rendering his words in harsh English. "Zara Chen of Earth," he growled. "You will come with us. Resist and your educational facility will be reduced to ash." Zara stood perfectly still as the 3 Vorthon warriors surrounded her on the school roof. Their reptilian features were hidden behind advanced combat masks, but she could see the predatory intelligence in their yellow eyes. The leader's weapon was trained directly on her chest, while the other 2 had their guns pointed at the crowd of students and teachers below. "I'll come willingly," Zara said in fluent Vorthon, causing all three aliens to step back in surprise. But you leave these people alone. They're not part of this. The leader tilted his head, studying her with new interest. You speak our language. Impressive for a primitive human child. I'm full of surprises, Zara replied, slowly raising her hands. Let's just get this over with. But as the Vorthons began to activate their transport beam, Zara's enhanced hearing picked up something that made her heart race. Maya's voice calling out from the stairwell leading to the roof. Zara! The building's not fully evacuated. There are still kids trapped in the east wing. The lead Vorthon's attention shifted toward the sound, his weapon swinging in Maya's direction. Zara saw the deadly intent in his movements and reacted without thinking. She lunged forward, her enhanced speed allowing her to close the distance before the alien could fire. Her shoulder connected with the Vorthon's midsection, sending him crashing into the roof's ventilation system. The other two warriors immediately opened fire, but Zara was already moving. She rolled behind an air conditioning unit as energy blasts scorched the concrete where she had been standing. Impressive reflexes, one of the Vorthons called out in their guttural language. But you only delay the inevitable. Zara's tactical training kicked into overdrive. 3 armed opponents, limited cover, and innocent civilians in the line of fire. The situation was nearly impossible, but she had faced worse odds during the Zirian crisis. She just needed to think like the galactic hero she truly was, not the high school student she was pretending to be. She pulled out her emergency communicator and quickly activated a program she had hoped never to use. It sent a direct signal to every alien technology detector on Earth, effectively announcing her location to any hostile forces in the galaxy. But it also activated her combat enhancements to full capacity. Maya had reached the roof and was staring in shock at the 3 armored aliens now hunting for Zara among the rooftop equipment. This isn't happening, she whispered. This can't be real. Maya, get back downstairs, Zara shouted, but her friend seemed frozen in place. The distraction cost her. One of the Vorthons had flanked around the other side of the roof and now had a clear shot. Energy crackled from his weapon as he prepared to fire, but Zara was too far away to reach him in time. Then something unexpected happened. Maya grabbed a fire extinguisher from the stairwell and launched it at the Vorthon with surprising accuracy. The heavy cylinder struck him in the head, causing his shot to go wide and giving Zara the opening she needed. She sprinted across the roof, her enhanced muscles propelling her forward with inhuman speed. The Vorthon tried to adjust his aim, but Zara was already there. She grabbed his weapon and used his own momentum to flip him over the roof's edge. His armor's anti-grav systems activated automatically, preventing him from hitting the ground, but he was effectively out of the fight. 2 down, Zara muttered, scanning for the last warrior. He appeared from behind the elevator housing, his weapon trained not on Zara but on Maya. Surrender now, or the primitive dies, he growled. Zara felt cold fury wash over her. This was exactly why she had tried to keep her 2 worlds separate. Maya had no idea what she was dealing with. No training for this kind of situation, and now she was in mortal danger because of Zara's past. You want me? Zara called out, stepping into the open. Here I am. But instead of surrendering, she did something that shocked everyone present. She activated the alien technology embedded in her body during the Zirian mission. Blue energy coursed across her skin as nanoscale machines enhanced her nervous system and muscle fibers. Her eyes began to glow with an otherworldly light. The Vorthon warrior took an involuntary step backward. Impossible. You're using Zarion tech. The Zarians were grateful, Zara replied, her voice carrying new harmonics as the technology interfaced with her vocal cords. They shared more than you know. What happened next lasted only seconds but felt like hours. Zara moved with speed that blurred her form, covering the distance to the Vorthon faster than he could track. Her enhanced strength allowed her to tear his weapon from his hands and disable his armor systems with surgical precision. Within moments, all 3 Vorthon warriors were unconscious and secured. Maya stood in stunned silence as Zara's enhancements powered down, returning her to normal human appearance. The parking lot below was in chaos, with students and teachers pointing at the alien ship still hovering overhead. So, Maya said finally, her voice remarkably steady, you're not really from overseas, are you? Zara slumped against the roof's railing, exhaustion hitting her as the adrenaline faded. I'm from Earth, born in San Francisco, but I've spent the last 2 years in space. Space, Maya repeated slowly, like outer space, with aliens and spaceships and everything. Pretty much. Maya sat down beside her, staring up at the Vorthan scout ship. And you saved a planet? 4 billion people, Zara confirmed. The Zarian star was dying and their planet was going to freeze. I helped them restart their sun. Wow. Maya was quiet for a moment. That explains why you seem so bored by high school drama. Before Zara could respond, Admiral Chen's voice crackled through her communicator. Zara, we're detecting multiple Vorthan ships entering the system. This was just the advance scout. A full war party is incoming. Zara's blood ran cold. How many ships? 12 attack cruisers and a battleship. They'll be here within the hour. Maya overheard the transmission and paled. 12 ships? That sounds like a lot. It is, Zara admitted. More than Earth's defenses can handle. What about your people? The galactic whatever you mentioned. The Galactic Defense Force is spread thin across 7 sectors. Even if they could respond, it would take days for a fleet to reach Earth. Maya stood up and walked to the edge of the roof, looking down at the crowd of confused and frightened students. So what happens now? Do we evacuate the planet? There's nowhere to evacuate to, Zara said quietly. Faster-than-light travel technology isn't common knowledge on Earth. Most people don't even know aliens exist. The weight of the situation settled over them both. In less than an hour, Earth would face its first alien invasion, and the only person qualified to defend it was a 17-year-old girl who just wanted to fit in at high school. Maya turned back to face her. Okay, so Earth is about to be attacked by alien warriors and you're the only one who can stop them. Did I get that right? That's a pretty accurate summary. Well then, Maya said, surprising Zara with a determined smile. I guess we better figure out how to save the world. Because there's no way I'm missing homecoming next week. Despite everything, Zara found herself smiling back. For the first time since arriving at Jefferson High, she didn't feel completely alone. Maya might not understand the full scope of what they were facing, but she was willing to stand with her. That meant more than Zara could express. The Vorthan scout ship began to retreat as Earth's military jets appeared on the horizon, but Zara knew this was only the beginning. In the distance, she could see the first flickers of light that marked incoming alien vessels. The real battle was about to begin. The emergency command center that Admiral Chen established in Jefferson High's gymnasium looked like something from a science fiction movie. Holographic displays showed tactical information about the incoming Vorthan fleet, while technicians in military uniforms worked frantically at portable computers. Students and teachers had been evacuated to nearby buildings, but Maya had somehow convinced the Admiral to let her stay. 13 Vorthan vessels confirmed, reported Lieutenant Torres, a young officer who kept glancing nervously at Zara. ETA 43 minutes. Zara studied the tactical display, her mind racing through possible defensive strategies. Earth's military had advanced technology, but nothing that could match Vorthan weapons. The alien warships could destroy entire cities from orbit, and their shields could withstand anything Earth's forces could throw at them. What about the planetary defense grid? She asked Admiral Chen. Still under construction. He replied grimly, We have orbital platforms around major cities, but they're designed to stop asteroids and space debris, not military vessels. Maya raised her hand like she was still in class. Excuse me, but what exactly are we talking about here? How bad could this get? Admiral Chen and Zara exchanged glances. Finally, Zara answered, The Vorthans don't negotiate or take prisoners. If they win, they'll strip Earth of its resources and either enslave humanity or wipe us out completely. Oh, Maya said quietly. That's really bad. The gymnasium doors burst open as Colonel Chen, Zara's father, strode in wearing full battle armor. Behind him came Dr. Chen, her mother, carrying a briefcase filled with alien technology samples. Sweetheart, her father said, pulling Zara into a quick hug. Are you injured? I'm fine, Dad, but we have bigger problems. Her mother opened the briefcase, revealing several devices that glowed with soft blue light. I've been analyzing the Zerion technology that was integrated into your system. I think I might have found a way to level the playing field. She pulled out what looked like a small crystal. This is a quantum resonance amplifier. If we can modify Earth's communication satellites, we might be able to disrupt Vorthan ship systems on a planetary scale. Admiral Chen leaned forward with interest. What kind of disruption? Their weapons and shields operate on specific quantum frequencies, Dr. Chen explained. If we can generate interference at the right wavelength, We could temporarily disable their offensive capabilities. Temporarily? Zara asked. Maybe 15 minutes. 20 at the most. Lieutenant Torres looked up from his console. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the lead Vorthon vessel. They're demanding to speak with Zara Chen. Everyone turned to look at Zara, who took a deep breath and nodded. Put them through. A holographic image materialized in the center of the gymnasium. The figure was tall and imposing, with scaled skin and burning red eyes. When he spoke, his voice carried the authority of absolute command. I am War Commander Thrax of the Vorthon Dominion. You will surrender the human called Zara Chen, or we will reduce your pathetic world to ash. Zara stepped forward, her voice steady despite the fear she felt. I'm Zara Chen, what do you want? Thrax's eyes narrowed as he studied her. You are younger than expected, no matter. You interfered with Vorthon expansion in the Zerion sector. This crime demands punishment. I saved 4 billion innocent lives, Zara replied. If that's a crime, I'm proud to be guilty. Your pride will not save your world, Thrax snarled. Surrender yourself within 30 minutes or watch your species burn. The transmission ended, leaving the command center in tense silence. Maya was the first to speak. Okay, so the bad aliens want to trade Zara for the safety of Earth. That's actually not the worst deal I've heard. Maya, Zara protested. I'm just saying from a purely logical standpoint, it wouldn't work, Admiral Chen interrupted. The Vorthons never honor agreements with species they consider inferior. They take Zara and attack Earth anyway. Colonel Chen activated his own communicator. All units, this is command. Begin implementation Protocol 7. We're going to war. Across the planet, military forces began mobilizing. Fighter jets took to the skies. Naval vessels prepared their most advanced weapons, and orbital defense platforms powered up their particle beam cannons. But everyone in the command center knew it wouldn't be enough. Dr. Chen worked frantically to modify the quantum resonance amplifier, while Zara studied the tactical displays. The Vorthon fleet was arranged in a classic attack formation, with the battleship positioned to provide cover for the smaller cruisers. It was exactly the formation she had seen them use during the battle for Zerion Prime. Mom, how long until the amplifier is ready? Zara asked. 10 minutes, maybe 15. But I need access to the primary communication satellite to upload the resonance pattern. That satellite is in geosynchronous orbit, Admiral Chen pointed out. 22,000 miles up. Even our fastest shuttles would take hours to reach it. Zara felt a familiar sensation as her enhanced mind began processing tactical possibilities at superhuman speed. The Zerion technology in her system wasn't just for combat. It also included advanced spaceflight capabilities that had never been fully tested. There might be another way, she said slowly. The Zerion enhancements include limited flight capability. I could reach the satellite. Her parents exchanged worried glances. Sweetheart, you've never attempted orbital flight, her mother said. The risk of not trying is higher, Zara interrupted. If I can upload the resonance pattern and disable the Vorthon ships, Earth's military might have a chance. Maya stepped forward. Wait, hold on. You're talking about flying into space. Like personally flying, with your body. The Zerion technology creates a protective field, Zara explained. It's designed for emergency situations exactly like this. Admiral Chen checked his displays. Vorthon Fleet ETA 26 minutes. Even if you could reach the satellite, how would you return to Earth once the Vorthons are disabled? I probably wouldn't, Zara admitted quietly. The gymnasium fell silent. Maya stared at her in horror. You're talking about a suicide mission. I'm talking about saving 8 billion people. Her father placed a hand on her shoulder. There has to be another way. But before anyone could suggest alternatives, alarms began blaring throughout the command center. Lieutenant Torres looked up from his console, his face pale. Admiral, the Vorthon fleet just accelerated. New ETA 15 minutes. And, sir, they're charging weapons. Through the gymnasium windows, they could see streaks of light beginning to appear in the sky as the alien warships entered Earth's atmosphere. The battle for humanity's survival was about to begin, whether they were ready or not. Zara activated the Zerion enhancements in her body, feeling the familiar surge of power as alien technology interfaced with her nervous system. Blue energy crackled across her skin as protective fields began to form. Zara, don't do this, Maya pleaded. There has to be another way. Maybe, Zara replied, rising slowly into the air as anti-grav systems came online. But I can't risk Earth while we look for it. She looked around the command center one last time, memorizing the faces of her parents, Admiral Chen, and most importantly, Maya. Her brief attempt at a normal life was over, but at least she had gotten to experience real friendship, even if only for a few weeks. "Tell everyone that humanity never gave up," she said. "And Maya, thanks for helping me remember what I was fighting for." With that, Zara shot through the gymnasium's skylight and rocketed toward the stars, leaving her human life behind once again. The view from 22,000 miles above Earth was breathtaking and terrifying. Zara could see the blue marble of her home planet below, peaceful and beautiful, while above her the Vorthan war fleet descended like a dark storm. The alien technology in her body had protected her during the rapid ascent to orbit, but she could feel the strain of maintaining life support systems in the vacuum of space. The communication satellite hung before her like a metallic spider, its solar panels spread wide to catch the sun's energy. Zara had never attempted anything like this before. She was essentially hacking an Earth satellite using alien technology, while floating in space, all to save a planet that most of the galaxy considered primitive. Her enhanced vision could make out individual Vorthan ships now, 12 attack cruisers arranged in a perfect offensive formation, with War Commander Thrax's massive battleship at the center. Their weapons were already glowing with deadly energy, preparing to turn Earth cities into ash. "Come on, Zara," she muttered to herself, connecting her mother's quantum resonance amplifier to the satellite's main transmitter. "You've saved one planet. Time to save another." The device interfaced smoothly with the satellite systems, but uploading the resonance pattern was more complex than expected. The Zarian technology in her body had to translate between 3 different technological standards: human, Zarian, and Vorthan. It was like trying to speak 3 languages simultaneously while doing advanced mathematics. Below her, she could see the first energy beams lancing down from the Vorthan ships. They struck Earth's orbital defense platforms, which exploded in brilliant flashes of light. Humanity's first line of defense was gone in seconds. Zara's hands moved frantically across the satellite's control interface. She could hear radio chatter from Earth's military forces as they prepared for their hopeless battle. Fighter jets were scrambling from bases worldwide, while naval vessels fired missiles that couldn't possibly reach the alien ships. "Upload at 60%, she reported through her communicator, hoping someone was still listening. "But the Vorthans are beginning their attack run." War Commander Thrax's voice suddenly crackled through space on an open frequency. "Zara Chen, we see you there, floating helplessly among your primitive technology. Your sacrifice is meaningless. Earth will burn regardless." Zara ignored him, focusing on the upload process. 70% complete. The Vorthan attack cruisers were moving into bombardment position over Earth's major cities. She could see the distinctive energy signatures of their planet-killer weapons beginning to charge. "Upload at 80%, she reported. Come on, wait, then something unexpected happened." Her communicator crackled with a familiar voice. Maya, somehow broadcasting from the command center below. "Zara, this is Maya. I don't know if you can hear me, but I wanted you to know something. The whole school is watching. Everyone's gathered in the cafeteria, and they're all cheering for you. Even Jake from chemistry class, and he's usually a complete idiot." Despite the desperate situation, Zara found herself smiling. "Maya, you shouldn't be broadcasting on open channels. The Vorthans can hear you." "Good," Maya replied fiercely. "Let them hear this. My friend Zara Chen is up there risking her life to save all of us. She's 17 years old. She saved an entire alien planet, and she's braver than anyone I've ever met. So if you scaly space bullies think you can intimidate Earth, you picked the wrong species to mess with." Other voices began joining the broadcast. Students, teachers, and people from around the world who had heard about the alien invasion. They spoke in dozens of languages, but the message was the same. Earth would not surrender without a fight. War Commander Thrax's angry snarl cut through the chatter. "Enough, begin bombardment sequence." "Reduce their cities to upload complete," Zara announced, activating the quantum resonance amplifier. The effect was immediate and devastating. The amplified signal raced outward at the speed of light, washing over the Vorthan fleet like an invisible tsunami. Ship after ship went dark as their quantum-based systems fell victim to the resonance interference. Weapons powered down, shields collapsed, and even their engines began to stutter. "Impossible," Thrax roared as his battleship's mighty guns fell silent. "Our technology is superior. This cannot be happening." But it was happening. The Vorthan Warfleet, moments away from destroying Earth cities, now hung helplessly in space. Their ships were still intact but completely disabled. For the first time in the battle, humanity had the advantage. Earth's military forces didn't waste the opportunity. Missiles that had been useless against Vorthan shields now found their targets. Fighter jets swarmed the disabled cruisers, while orbital defense platforms that had survived the initial attack opened fire with everything they had. Zara watched the battle turn from her position by the satellite. The sight of human pilots fearlessly attacking ships 10 times their size filled her with pride. This was why she fought, not just to save lives, but to protect the incredible courage and determination that made humanity special. But her moment of triumph was short-lived. The quantum resonance effect was already beginning to weaken, exactly as her mother had predicted. The Vorthan ships were adapting, their backup systems coming online. She had maybe 5 more minutes before they regained full combat capability. "Admiral Chen," she called through her communicator. "The effect is temporary. You need to disable their ships permanently before they recover." "We're trying," came the reply, "but their hulls are too thick. Our weapons aren't powerful enough to destroy them outright." Zara studied the tactical situation, her enhanced mind processing possibilities at superhuman speed. Earth's forces were brave and determined, but they simply didn't have the firepower to finish the job. The Vorthans would recover, and when they did, they would be angry. Then she noticed something. The Vorthan battleship was positioned directly over the North Atlantic Ocean, its massive bulk creating a gravity shadow that affected Earth's tides. If she could somehow destabilize the ship's power core— "I have an idea," she announced, "but it's really, really dangerous." "More dangerous than what you're already doing?" Maya's voice cut through the military chatter. "Much more dangerous," Zara admitted. "I need to get inside Thrax's battleship and overload their main reactor. The explosion would take out half the fleet. And you along with it," her father's voice said grimly. Zara looked down at Earth, so beautiful and fragile from orbit. She thought about her parents, her brief time at Jefferson High, and especially Maya's friendship. She had wanted so badly to be normal, to just be a teenager worried about homework and social drama. But she wasn't normal. She was the human who had saved Zerion Prime, the girl who could interface with alien technology, the bridge between humanity and the stars. And right now, Earth needed her to be that person one more time. "Sometimes being a hero means making the hard choices," she said quietly. "Tell everyone I'm sorry I won't make it to homecoming." Before anyone could stop her, Zara shot away from the satellite toward the disabled Vorthan battleship. Behind her, the quantum resonance effect continued to weaken, and the first enemy cruiser flickered back to life. Time was running out for both her and Earth. The battleship's hull loomed before her like a metallic mountain. Zara found an access port and began cutting through the armor with focused energy beams. Soon she would be inside the most heavily defended warship in the Vorthan fleet, alone and facing impossible odds. But for the first time since the crisis began, she felt truly calm. This was who she was meant to be. Not a high school student trying to fit in, but a guardian standing between Earth and the darkness of space. Whatever happened next, she would face it as herself. The interior of the Vorthan battleship was a maze of corridors designed for beings much larger than humans. Zara moved through the darkened passages like a ghost, her enhanced senses guiding her toward the ship's power core. Emergency lighting cast eerie shadows on the walls, and she could hear the frustrated roars of Vorthan crew members trying to restore their systems. Her neural implant had mapped the ship's layout from external scans, but navigating the actual corridors was more challenging than expected. Everything was built for creatures 8 feet tall with longer limbs. She had to climb through maintenance shafts and crawl along service tunnels to avoid the increasingly active crew. Through her communicator, she could hear updates from the battle outside. Earth's forces had managed to destroy 3 of the smaller cruisers before their shields came back online. But the remaining ships were rapidly regaining power, and several were already beginning to return fire. "Zara, where are you?" Maya's voice crackled through the static. "The big ship's engines just came back online." "I'm almost to the reactor chamber," Zara replied quietly. "Maya, I need you to do something for me. Anything. Tell my parents I love them, and tell everyone at school that saving Earth was worth missing the homecoming dance." "Zara, don't talk like that. You're going to make it back." Zara reached the final blast door separating her from the ship's power core. Beyond that door lay a reactor powerful enough to fuel a city-sized warship. If she could overload it properly, the explosion would destroy not just this battleship, but several of the cruisers in close formation. She began cutting through the door with her energy projectors, but the process was slow. The Vorthons built their ships to withstand almost anything, including sabotage from within. She could hear heavy footsteps approaching from multiple directions as security teams converged on her location. "Human intruder detected in Section 7, growled a voice over the ship's internal communications. "All units converge. War Commander wants her taken alive." The blast door finally gave way and Zara slipped into the reactor chamber. The sight took her breath away. The Vorthon power core was a miniature star contained within magnetic fields, pulsing with enough energy to power half of Earth. Surrounding it were control systems that regulated the fusion process with incredible precision. But Zara wasn't looking at the reactor itself. She was studying the quantum regulators that kept the fusion reaction stable. If she could disrupt those systems using her Xerion technology, the resulting cascade failure would be spectacular. The chamber doors burst open behind her as a dozen Vorthon warriors poured in, their weapons trained on her. War Commander Thrax followed them, his red eyes blazing with fury. "Step away from the reactor, human," he snarled. "Your interference ends now." Zara turned to face him, her hands still working at the control systems behind her back. "Actually, I think it's just getting started. You cannot hope to understand our technology," Thrax sneered. "Your species has barely learned to leave its own planet." "You're right," Zara admitted. "I don't understand your technology, but I understand mine." She activated the Xerion enhancements in her body, and blue energy began crackling across her skin. The Vorthon warriors took a step back as her eyes began to glow with otherworldly light. "The Xerions taught me something important," Zara continued, her voice taking on harmonic frequencies as the alien technology interfaced with her vocal cords. "Power isn't about having the biggest weapons or the strongest shields. It's about being willing to sacrifice for something greater than yourself." Thrax raised his weapon. "Enough philosophy. Surrender now or die where you stand." "I choose option 3, Zara replied. She spun around and plunged her hands directly into the reactor's quantum regulation matrix. The Xerion technology in her body interfaced with the Vorthon systems, creating a feedback loop that sent cascading failures throughout the ship's power grid. The reactor began to pulse erratically, its contained fusion reaction growing unstable. Warning alarms blared throughout the chamber as the magnetic containment field started to fluctuate. "What have you done?" Thrax roared, lunging toward her. But it was too late. The quantum cascade was already spreading beyond the reactor chamber, affecting other systems throughout the ship. Lights flickered, gravity fields wavered, and the massive battleship began to shudder as its power core prepared to go critical. Zara felt the alien technology in her body burning out as it pushed beyond its design limits. The feedback from the reactor was overwhelming her enhanced nervous system, but she held on. Earth needed these extra seconds. Through her failing communicator, she could hear Maya's voice one last time. "Zara, the other ships are pulling back. Whatever you did, it's working." She smiled despite the pain coursing through her body. The Vorthon fleet was retreating rather than risk being caught in the explosion. Earth was safe. "Tell everyone," she whispered into her communicator, "that humans never give up." The reactor reached critical mass, and for a brief moment, a new star blazed in the space above Earth. The explosion vaporized War Commander Thrax's battleship and severely damaged 3 nearby cruisers. The remaining Vorthon vessels fled the system, rather than face the fury of a species that would sacrifice everything to protect their home. In the command center at Jefferson High, Maya stared at the tactical display showing the expanding debris field where the battleship had been. Tears streamed down her face as Admiral Chen officially confirmed what everyone already knew. Contact lost with Agent Chen, presumed lost in action. But Maya refused to believe it. Zara had survived impossible odds before. Somewhere in that expanding cloud of wreckage, she had to still be alive. She had to be. 3 days later, a Galactic Defense Force rescue ship detected a faint life sign among the debris. They found Zara floating unconscious in a protective bubble, generated by the last reserves of her Xerion enhancements. She was badly injured and the alien technology in her body was permanently damaged. But she was alive. When she finally returned to Earth 2 weeks later, Zara discovered that her secret identity was no longer secret. The entire world knew about the teenage girl who had saved them from alien invasion. She was invited to speak at the United Nations, offered movie deals, and hailed as humanity's greatest hero. But the first thing she did was return to Jefferson High School. Maya was waiting for her in the hallway, holding a homecoming crown made of aluminum foil. "I know we missed the dance," she said with a grin, "but I figured you deserved this anyway." Zara laughed, really laughed, for the first time since the invasion. "Thanks, but you know I can never go back to pretending to be normal, right?" "Who wants normal?" Maya replied. "Normal is boring. Besides, someone needs to keep you grounded now that you're famous." As they walked down the hallway together, Zara realized that she finally understood what she had been searching for during her brief time as a regular high school student. It wasn't normalcy she had wanted, it was connection. She had found that in Maya's friendship, and no amount of galactic responsibility could take that away. The hero who saved a planet had learned that sometimes the most important victories happen not in the vastness of space, but in the simple act of walking down a high school hallway with a true friend by your side.